Hi there, welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming a plan with me for November 18th through the 24th, 2024 in my Sadie Stickers vertical planner. I'm going to be using this kit from the Planner Shack called Rainy Days. I've had this kit for about a year, so I've really been wanting to use it. The building on the left in that full box reminds me of a school that I used to volunteer at when I worked in New York, like to a T. I almost feel like they took the photograph of the building in the West Village for this image, so it was kind of jarring to see that. I printed this kit a long time ago, so I did print pages that I would never use now, like those checklist boxes. I love the muted colors and the style of this. It's very fall. And it did come with a bunch of scripts, which I ended up not really using most of those. I loved the deco. I thought it was very fun. Uh, and this is an older format kit from the Planner Shack, so a lot of those things are not there anymore. I'm also going to be using a bunch of samplers from Scribble Prints Co., including this one from Ariana Plans that I got from an order a few weeks back, and it just matched the color so perfectly. I also have a bunch of Sadie stickers, hot gold, I guess you want to call it, or light gold, different fall elements like fall drinks and pumpkins and all these other fun things. So I wanted to pull those in as well. And then I had a couple of like scripts and things too that I just wanted to use before the end of the year. I had this fun washi, which now Sadie Stickers makes her washi very delicate and small. So, and then this is Autumn Gold using Autumn Underlays from Plannahannah. I just thought this was a fun way to dive deep into autumn. And it is a little bit different than the other golds, but it's still really pretty. And I think they all came together really well. So laying down this kit was really interesting just because I hadn't worked in this format in a long time. Trying to figure out, okay, which pages do I need to focus on? I had this wide washi that I wasn't going to use because I only wanted to use part of it. So I probably should have cut the whole thing down, but instead I just layered pieces on top. So it's extra thick, but I also didn't have like anything dramatic from a bundle to put on top of it. I just had those thin washi strips. So that's what I ended up using. So this was the week after my birthday week, really the last week of true fall before Thanksgiving week. And also, just something to mention, this is the last full week that you'll see me plan in my planner on one double page spread. So things are going to be a little different for the next plan with me, and I hope you enjoy the change because I've been enjoying it a lot. I put these tiny, delicate little leaves right through the middle of that washi. It's very hard to see from this angle. It does look pretty, but really, really tiny. And so I had the underlays. I just had to figure out which of the full boxes I wanted to use. And this was kind of a rainy day, a rainy week. So it was actually very apropos. But yeah, so I think I used nearly all of them. I'm not sure if I left any out. I'm not a big tea drinker. I'd love to know in the comments, do you drink coffee? Do you drink tea? Do you drink cider? Like, what's your drink of choice? I really loved this full scene with the bed and the curtain. It reminded me of an apartment I used to have when I lived in New York, and the rain would just come down my window just like that. So the headers were very, very light and kind of hard to see, but I put them all down anyway. Um, and yeah, so this was just kind of heading into what we call head count. So in my district, we do something called head count. It's always December 1st. And in order to be compliant, we have to make sure that all outstanding evaluations that were held over from the previous year or needed to be compliant by December 1st would be compliant by December 1st. And so that meant that this was really the last week of IEP meetings that we could really hold, because the following week was Thanksgiving week and it was a short week. And so they actually didn't want us to hold any meetings during this week at all, but it's just not possible. Um, so this was busy. I had a lot of IEPs this week. Basically every day I had one, and it was just too many meetings. Plus, I was also still in the middle of trying to test a bunch of my students that had been referred at the beginning of the year for preschool. And I mean, I'm filming this voiceover on December 8th, and I can tell you right now, like, I'm just scheduling those results meetings like now. It's just been a crazy year. I've never had this many referrals. And so for any speech therapists who are watching this, like, I'm curious to hear, like, have you had an increase in referrals this year? I'd love to know, like, what you're seeing, because it's just gone up like crazy. So I really love the boldness of this underlay. I think it's very brassy and dark and kind of very emblematic of fall. Those are leaves in the design. You can't really see it until you zoom all the way in. Um, but that was really fun. And I ended up having two of these underlays left over. So you'll see I will just keep those separate. But yeah, I think this came out really, really well. And I'm just a huge fan of these underlays. But this was like the craziest, the craziest emotional week. I was jumping around a lot. So there we go. I'm saving those extra too. And then I had a bunch of these fall quotes that I wanted to use. So that one says, "But I think I love fall most of all." And then this one says, "Autumn skies and apple pies." And it has just little bits of apple and wheat deco there. And then I had another one and I was trying to figure out exactly where I wanted to put it. Ended up putting just a little coffee cup next to the boots. And I had all this extra space left over because I didn't print any of the extra full boxes. There were more. There were some fashion girls, and there was like a double box of the giant building, and I didn't use any of them. So I just figured, let me just actively fill out this sidebar here. Um, so I decided to use the deco for the top as usual. Really loved all the deco this week. I especially loved that cable knit sweater, the stack of books, the briefcase. I will say that briefcase is probably not very practical for a rainy day, but there you go. Anyway, I really love all of this. The only thing that seemed really out of place to me was the honey, but I think that's just because it goes with the tea. I ripped the glasses in half. Go me. Um, but yeah. Uh, so before I get into the day by day, if anyone has any questions about how I come up with kits, where I find my kits, please leave comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. I'm just curious. Um, but yeah, so alrighty. I think that's looking really good. The wiggle is forthcoming. Da 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 da. Lovely. Okay. So now this is weeks and weeks later. All right. So getting into the day by day, um, first thing I did on Monday was I had to feed the cats, take my vitamins, have breakfast, and then I had a full day of speech therapy. My planner this week, I was actually so busy that I didn't really log what I usually log in my bullet journal for this. So it was just kind of crazy. Um, I did have an IEP annual meeting at 1 o'clock, and then I did do some session notes as well. That script is from custom from Plannahannah. And then I did have therapy in the afternoon. I used a Carly Plans sticker to mark that, and I also had a Carly Plans script. And then I didn't have as many of the little things as I wanted, so I just kind of used these work stickers and just kind of positioned things over. Um, I was still listening to Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. And then I used a little house sticker to mark that we had salad for dinner and we watched Lincoln Lawyer. And then on Tuesday was kind of a hot mess. So I took a shower first thing in the morning and then I went to dry my hair because it was getting colder. Usually I just let my hair air dry, but I had to be at work. And I could not get my hair dryer to work. I was so frustrated. I tried it in 2 different bathrooms. I could not get it to work, and so my hair was just kind of a hot mess for the rest of the day. I did have a full day of work, and I was, like, not in the best of moods. I did a speech screening, and I used some deco from the kit, and that script is from, Plannahannah. And then in the early evening, I came home and I cleaned the kitchen, top to bottom. That ghost is from Carly Plans. I just decided I'm going to use ghosts like throughout the year. I don't care if it's Halloween or not. And then I marked that we had dinner and watched Lincoln Lawyer in the same big old box. Um, So Wednesday was a crazy storm. I woke up and it was like pitch black and I could not see in front of me and I had to drive to work and it was a harrowing drive. Like I drove very, very slowly because I was worried about getting into an accident. So um we had mass hearing screenings this day at a different school that I'm normally slated to be at and I was actually there until noon. I wasn't supposed to stay that long, but I did and then I had to drive back to my other school to do an annual um, IEP virtual, and that was like I barely made it in time for that, but I did it. And then after I went to Publix to get sushi for Sushi Wednesday. They have $5 rolls, and so I've been doing that regularly now, and it's super convenient. And I look forward to it. And my husband surprised me and helped me pay off some student loans, which was like a total shock. And I was so happy and grateful to him. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, and then for the rest of the night, we watched sushi and we ate sushi and watched Lincoln Lawyer. Um, but yeah, that made my whole week. It was amazing. Um, So on Thursday, I had this crazy long IEP meeting. It's called a reeval exit meeting where we're opening and sort of closing a student up without testing. And I had enough data to show that the student didn't need speech therapy anymore. So I was able to dismiss him in the meeting. But it was like a 2 hour meeting. It was very, very long. Um, and then I had this horrible realization that all of my preschool students did not have the appropriate vision screening paperwork that they needed to have. There's been a little bit of confusion with who's handling what because they changed our process this year. So I worked very closely with the nurse and we were able to get 5 out of 6 of the kids screened that day. And so that was like my whole morning was just dealing with that. I did do work, I did do speech therapy, and then in the afternoon, I did talk to my mom. Um, my father lost his computer at Charlotte Airport, and she got um, a notification that they'd found it, which was amazing. So um, that was wild. I did make a Thanksgiving menu, and then we watched Peaky Blinders in the evening. So on Friday, it had been such a nutty week, so I decided to treat myself to a Starbucks run. So that script is from Scribble Prints Co. and that little coffee cup is like from Plannahannah, I think. It was like a freebie. And then I decided to use this really cute Play-Doh from Fox and Pip to mark that I did speech therapy all day. Fridays are fun. I do enjoy Fridays, but it was like such a chaotic week. It was also trash day. So I used a script that came with the kit along with this really cute little ghosty from Carly Plans to mark that I took the trash out in the morning. And then after work, I went to the library to return a book that I'd been holding on to for far too long, and I picked up some new stuff. And that was just fun. I just hadn't gone to the library in such a long time. Um, my husband made this incredible chicken from this recipe that he found he made on ChatGPT, and then he used this incredible rub from Trader Joe's. It's like a coffee rub. So good. Um, it was some of the best chicken I've ever had ever. So my husband is amazing. And then we ended the night by watching Lincoln Lawyer. Um, Saturday, I was very ambitious and I decided, okay, we're going to go to Trader Joe's and we're going to get a bunch of Thanksgiving ingredients. And going to Trader Joe's the Saturday before Thanksgiving, we wanted to get there right when they opened. So we got up early and went, and we were not the only people in the store when we got there, but by the time we left, the number of people in the store had like tripled. So I think we did the right thing. I got some great ingredients, quality stuff. I really like their homemade stuffing, which I'm sure they still have at this point, but it's so good. So that's stickers from Once Form with Love. And then we got home and I made avocado toast, and I think I ended up having to go to Publix because the avocados that we had were not very good. So that's sort of reversed. I was reading this new book by Noam Chomsky, and we were simultaneously watching Home Improvement, really interesting combination. I filmed A Plan with Me, and then we got garlic knot pizza from this amazing pizza place called Mama's Pizza. And it was my movie night pick. So I picked The Sound of Music, which my husband had never seen, and um, he's been rewatching The Man in the High Castle. So I was like, "Oh, well, you have to see The Sound of Music," and that was really fun. I forgot how long that musical is. Julie Andrews is amazing, but it was just a long movie, and full of not great characters. Um, So on Sunday, we treated ourselves to sleeping in, and I tried this new frosted gingerbread creamer from Coffee Mate. It was so good. That Coffee Mate sticker is from Carly Plans. After breakfast, we took a walk around the neighborhood, and that was really fun. I hadn't done that in a long time. I did film, finish filming A Plan with Me. I folded some laundry, and I listened to more Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So that closes out the rest of my week. Um, it was crazy. Lots of stuff going on and very productive, but just like so much code switching, so much running around trying to get everything in order. So, and this is, I just decided to fill in the sidebar because I had the quote unquote data. So I took medication, vitamins, sleeping for 7 hours, and reading. The only thing I didn't meet was sleeping 7 hours a night. It did not happen. I did pay off that student loan with my husband's help. I would not have been able to do it without him. And I think the last thing I mark here, I just used a little foiled sticker to mark that it was the last full week of fall. So that is it. And you're going to see me zoom out in just a minute so you can see the whole spread in all its glory. Um, And then this is what I had left over. So I had quite a few things. I used most of the little boxes. I didn't use a ton of the scripts. I actually had a lot of deco left over, which is surprising. Usually I use most of it. And then just lots of extra sheets. So all in all, really successful. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. And again, my planning style is going to be a little bit different, so stay tuned for that. Also, going to be uploading my December bullet journal setup, so keep an eye out for that as well. But there's the wiggle, and I hope you guys are having a really good holiday season. Come back um, and see the next one. Bye.